Welcome back to another video, and today I am going to be going over how I find viral content for my various theme pages and how you can find content in a way that other pages aren't to get ahead of the curve. And this video is going to be valuable for those of you that have 1 million followers and those of you that have 0 followers and everywhere in between, because some of the methods I'm going to talk about today are overlooked, and oftentimes I think the fuel of every single theme page is the actual content that's being put out. You're not going to be able to monetize. You're not going to be able to make connections. You're not going to be able to continue to post good content and get paid for your content unless you are putting out the best content possible. And that all starts with how you're researching and finding your content to curate and how you're finding your content that you want to recreate. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. I'm going to be showing you exactly how I do it. All right, guys, today we're going to be going over a couple different things here. The first one being the actual strategy that I use to find my content, why most pages never go viral or they're unable to go viral consistently. So keep in mind, guys, the goal of every single page should be to raise the content floor, meaning you need to stop worrying about getting 10 million, 20 million, 30 million views consistently. What you need to be worried about is your worst performing posts every single month, week, whatever, however long you take to track it. That post, that worst performing post needs to continuously get better. So if you track every single month, you should have each month, your worst post of the month should continuously go higher and higher and higher. So if it's 500 likes the first month, it should be 600, then 700, 800, 900 likes. You need to track that. And as long as you can raise your worst post up, I promise you everything else will take care of itself. The next thing is the viral content pyramid and actually how you can find posts that maybe have a higher potential of going viral and why sometimes I will see a post that's done very well, but I won't repost that post because I know for a fact that if I post it, it's already been through the pyramid. And with that being said, the chances of it actually going viral again are very low. And we'll get into that. The next one being research, how to actually research and find things, knowing if a post is going to work, and then avoiding takedowns. So guys, you might be wondering, why listen to me? Well, my name is Drew. I've helped multiple students in growing their theme pages, whether they were starting from 0 followers and growing their page up, or whether they had 500,000 followers and actually were looking to monetize it, and everything in between. And with that being said, I made my first $10,000 online while I was still in college with my theme pages while, working 2 internships. And now this is what I do full time, is really build and grow different theme pages. And, I've helped scale multiple theme pages to 100,000 followers. And you can see some of the screenshots here that we have, 36 million views in a month. This is some payments from our bonus program. This is, a screenshot of our account. We're over 300,000 followers now, so I need to update that. Here's some payouts from TikTok. So if you've seen my pages, I do put my face out there every once in a while as well, getting paid from that. You can see some of the rewards here, more payouts from bonuses. This is a brand deal, $3,500. Some more payouts here. This is $1,800 from a single video. And then as you can see here, here's a $5,000 payment from just posting on Instagram theme pages, guys. So without further ado, so now that you've seen, my credibility, let's get straight into the first point. So number one, guys, is the strategy. So a lot of people, when they're searching for content, and trust me, I did the same thing when I was first starting out, is they're only looking on Instagram, right? And if you're only looking on Instagram and you're just reposting what's already gone viral on Instagram, understand that there's actually a timeline. Platforms do have a cadence, meaning things go viral for the first time on Twitter. Then you will find, usually Reddit and Twitter is the very first. So if you are a page that posts breaking news or wants to be the first to post about something, and maybe you want to cover everything, right? You're one of the pages that is a super wide audience and you need to cover things quickly, I would highly suggest don't look at Instagram. You should be looking at Twitter and Reddit, because these are the two ways to easily find content that's going viral now and not something that's, being reposted from years ago. The next thing is, you obviously want to get ahead of the curve. So if you are reposting content that everyone else has already reposted, understand that, this is going to hurt the performance of it, because people are going to see your post and they've already seen it somewhere else and they're not going to interact with it. This is why whenever breaking news comes out of, maybe someone passing away or maybe someone getting traded, or there's different scenarios for every single niche, but this is why the people that posted at the very beginning, are the ones that, you'll see those posts go mega viral versus everyone that reposts it, maybe an hour later, 12 hours later, the post will usually perform decent, but after that, there's a massive drop off. So understand that. And the next thing is to search in timelines, guys. So you should be searching for, especially when you go on TikTok, when you're searching on Twitter, whatever it is, if you're trying to find content that isn't breaking news content, and maybe you're someone that just posts, kind of evergreen content or content that can go viral at any point in time, meaning, you're not posting about news, headlines, things like that, well, then I would suggest that you search for what has performed well in the last 3 months and what has performed well from a year ago and on. So what I mean by that is go to TikTok, search for the most liked posts, type in a keyword, search for the most liked posts within the last 3 months, and then dive into that content there. And then once you've kind of looked through that content, the next step you want to do is look for what's gone viral a year ago and beyond. Because the reason I say this is the posts that have gone viral within the last 3 months, oftentimes this is the first time they're going viral, right? If you're looking at content from 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, this content's often being resurfaced now again. So with that being said, you don't want to be someone that posted. And when we get into the pyramid, this will all make sense. But if you go 12 months plus, a lot of this content has fallen out of the cycle, meaning you could be this person that revives this content, brings it back to the forefront, and a lot of people haven't seen it before or forgot entirely that they saw it. So you'll see, guys, every single niche has it. Like, for example, within the football niche, there's a photo of, a Florida player, sitting next to kneeling down next to this guy on his team that passed away. And well, the, entire basis of the post is he actually ended up becoming the one that actually killed the guy. So this post goes super viral over and over and over again. So you can kind of see and track the cycles in which it goes viral, using Google Trends, or just if you're paying attention like me and you're searching for content every single day, you'll see when it gets resurfaced. But about every 6 to 7 months, this post gets resurfaced, gets resurfaced, and every single time it resurfaces, one or two of those posts will go viral. Then everyone else that tries to repost after that, there's a massive drop off. So with that being said, you kind of want to get into that cycle. So within the last 3 months, his posts, most likely it could be resurfaced stuff, but most likely it's going to be, super high performing posts within the last 3 months is going to be content that's being posted for the first time, because content that's being resurfaced from 12 months ago, it will go viral, but it won't be the top performing post, right? Because top performing post is obviously going to be content that's being posted for the first time, right? So we'll get into the pyramid, like I said, but essentially the first time that something gets posted, the ceiling is, let's say 12 million views. After that, chances are, 9 times out of 10, when that post is continuously reposted for the next 5 years, it's never going to reach the ceiling is going to continuously get lower. But the longer time in between being posted, the ceiling will go back up. So, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But essentially, you're trying to find content that's just gone viral for the first time and content that you could potentially revive from a year plus ago. And you can always look within 6 months and 8 months, 9 months, whatever. You can look at any time frame, but just keep in mind that once if it's you're just excuse, ah if you are just starting your page, I would suggest 3 months, 12 months. But if you're someone that's been creating content for a long time, researching content, you kind of already know what's going viral, what's been viral in your niche. So you should be able to make an educated decision based off of that. Let's get to the next point here. So why do most theme pages never go viral? And ah, so why do most theme pages never go viral? Well, when I say never go viral, there's definitely pages that reach out to me or that I see that are, under 1,000 followers that may never actually go viral, right? Because that they haven't gone viral yet and they're not switching things up, so they actually may never go viral. But most theme pages are able to go viral, maybe 10 times over the course of a year just by mistake. So keep that in mind when I say never go viral. I mean, why most theme pages are not able to go viral consistently. So most of the time, right, theme pages don't fail because of editing. When you're posting on theme pages, especially reels, you don't need to have a ton of editing, right? You just kind of need to understand the format that works, and then it's just plug and play from there. You don't need to be some, special effects editor, anything like that. You just need to know how to cut up a video and remove dead space. And once you do that, and you can put it into the right template, you're good to go. So with that being said, and when it comes to carousels, you do need to have a little bit of skills, or you need to have someone that provides you the template that's, you know, that takes the skill away, right? So with that being said, most theme pages fail because they're just picking the wrong content, right? They see a post that's gone viral, they repost it, and they hope it works. Understand that if I'm on Instagram right now and I see a post that got 1 million likes within the last 3 months, there's no chance I'm ever going to post that because everyone on the platform that's interested in the post has already seen it. If I post it, sure, it might perform better than my worst performing post, maybe, but chances are every single person that's seeing that post has already seen it once. They're not going to interact. They're definitely not going to share it because if they were going to share it, they probably shared it the first time. So with that being said, right, it's like it does you no good. And the people that do share the post, the people that do like the post, maybe they send it to their friend. Well, their friend, it dies there because their friend's probably already seen it. So understand that, guys. So stop just seeing stuff that goes viral and being like, oh, I have to post it, I have to post it. Find stuff that's out of cycle. You need to find content that's fallen out of the cycle and then pull it back to life. This is how you will consistently go viral. This is how you get very good engagement. So with that being said, think about what you're doing. Think about, just because you see a post that goes viral doesn't mean that it's going to work. And especially if it's on the same platform that you're planning on posting on. So if you're planning on posting on Instagram, I would suggest looking off of Instagram. So now let's get into the content pyramid that I'm talking about. And most theme pages sit at level 4. And so let's get into this, right? So here is the pyramid right here. So this is how it works, right? So I would say most people that come to me are sitting down here at level 4, right? So take a look at how this works, right? So when a piece of content is made, someone created it for the first time, right? So if I take a video right now, if I take my phone, take a video right now and post it onto Instagram, I would then be the original creator. Let's say that post gets 1 million views, right? Let's say I make a post about golden retrievers, right? I make a video talking about 10 tips to make sure your golden retriever is healthy, right? And it gets 10 million views, okay? There's going to be a bunch of people that take that video and that repost it, right? There's going to be a bunch of people there's going to be theme pages that then take that video and post it. So understand, those people will fall into level 2, early curators, right? These are the people that are taking that post and putting it up for the second time really quickly. And nowadays, you can't necessarily just pull someone's reel and repost it, right? It doesn't really work like that anymore. So let's say for this example, they aren't just reposting what I did. What they're doing instead is they're taking the 10 tips that I talked about and turning it into a carousel, or maybe they're editing the video up in a way that is a little bit different, but they're adding a little bit of value to it. Or maybe they are just stitching it, right? On TikTok, you can stitch the video and I'm in the background and they're talking over it, providing their own value. So these would be early curators, right? These still have the potential to go viral because most people that are then seeing this video maybe have seen the original, maybe not. They are, it's not being repeated a bunch of times and they're able to, still get some value out of it. Well, then level 3 comes along and this is where it's all theme pages, right? Theme pages reposting the video, theme pages turning it into carousels, theme pages putting on, doing, just taking the content and regurgitating it for a third time. Well, this video gets 10 million views, let's say. These people, maybe could get 5 million, 6 million views. Theme pages now are probably sitting at 1 million, 2 million views. And then when you get down to level 4, which a lot of you guys I have seen, based off of DMs and people reaching out to me, or just based off the pages I've seen, are down here, right? So these are the people that are then taking this video that's already been through this cycle, right? It's been through the entire cycle coming all the way down, and now they are posting it, right? So your goal should always be to land at level, 2, but often the theme pages nowadays, you can create original content if you know how to, and not by showing your face, right? A lot of the content I create is original content, right? And then it's able to perform at a very high level. So understand, Second time viewers are what are killing your posts. If I make a 10 tips about golden retrievers and then someone else posted onto their page the same exact video, and my video's got 10 million views, out of those 10 million people that saw the video, 90% of them are not going to watch a second video. And chances are, if they got pushed my video, they're going to get pushed the video that's, been posted again. So with that being said, all of those people that scroll onto the video, watch it for 1 second, and like, oh, I've already seen this, and scroll past, well, understand that those people are killing the post and making sure that it doesn't go viral. And that's why the algorithm is invented the way it is to push original content and to make sure that people aren't able to do this. So understand, every time you post something, you want to try to get it as early as possible, or you can pull it out and revive something that went viral. Because let's say this cycle goes on, right? And then we're talking about 12 months have gone by, a year has gone by, right? People have forgot, right? Everyone's forgot, and people are, depending on the post, right? Some posts will just be reposted every single month forever, but with a video like this, maybe it's died off after 6 months and people totally stopped posting it, right? Or it just stopped going viral. Well, after 6 more months go by, then if you were to find this post based off of what I told you originally, how to search, right? Then you find this post and you put it back up. Well, now the chances of it going viral are high again because one, people forgot about it. Two, maybe people want to, like, oh, within the last year, they're like, oh, I remember that video I watched. I need some tips on, my golden retriever. I forgot what it was. The video pops back up, though. They watched it all the way through again. It's fresh, right? It's fresh content, and people will, start to eat it again. So understand that. And with that being said, your goal is to always provide extra value. Your goal is to try to become an original creator if you can with your content, or, pull from another good thing if you want to be an original creator, quote unquote, or an early curator, is you can go to news sites. You can go to Reddit, Twitter, find something that's breaking news, right? Jalen Hurts traded, okay? How can I add more value to this? How can I add, a second level to this? So that way, when people see it on their page, they're not just like, oh, this is the 10th time I've seen that Jalen Hurts got traded. They're like, oh, this is what the GM said about him. This is why he got traded. This is, XYZ. Provide more value, right? You always want to provide more value. And that's an easy way to get to the top of this pyramid if you are someone that's currently sitting down here. And yes, it takes a little bit more effort, but you guys, that's just how it works, right? You gotta, if you want to be one of the top pages, if you want to grow quickly, you have to put in a little bit more effort. And it doesn't even have to be, a bunch of extra effort. It just has to be, a little bit different than what the average person is doing, right? Next is research. So the easiest way to do it is through these three things, right? Number one is obviously through accounts that are in your niche, right? So accounts directly in your niche, competition, mid-sized pages, new and growing pages. I would stay away from the massive pages because if you are a golden retriever, we'll stay with the golden retriever example. If you're a golden retriever page with 100,000 followers and there's a golden retriever page that has 10 million followers, I wouldn't pull content from the 10 million because once again, you are going through that same process of just reposting content that everyone's already seen. Even if you are, redesigning it, making it look better, whatever it is, understand that you're just tapping into an audience that has already seen it. So your goal should always be look at mid-sized pages, right? 100,000, 200,000, 50,000 followers, those kind of mid-sized, smaller pages, and see what's gone viral for them. And then you could repost that content. And once again, I would stay away from the last 3 months. I would go, 6 months, a year ago, find out what went viral, and then repost it or recreate it in 2 days. So this is another thing. Mid-sized pages, sometimes, oftentimes they're finding content first, or they've already gone through and pulled stuff, and they're pulling content and reviving it. So you can become someone that's hopping on that quickly, and you can often tap into these mid-sized small pages before the massive pages get into that information and find that post, and then you can actually beat the massive pages to it. The next thing is adjacent niches. So obviously, for example, right, if you are a motivational page, You can't go to a sports page and just take their content and post it, right? But you could find a quote or something that an athlete said, or a video or a situation, right? Or maybe an entrepreneur said something, or you found something in a podcast, and then you can pull that content that's gone viral there, and then make, you have to, you use AI to help you, or you can think about it yourself. How can I turn this quote or whatever? How is it, motivational? How can I turn this into a motivational post? And now you are essentially creating original content, right? But the battle's already done for you. So keep that in mind. The last thing is you can take from original creators. And the best thing I would suggest in 2026 is, yes, if you are a brand new page and you don't really understand social media too well, your best bet is find out what's already gone viral and figure out how you can post it yourself. But if you're someone that's kind of already knows social media, knows what works, my suggestion to you is pull formats that are working for massive pages, but create your own content, right? So, with that being said, it's pretty self explanatory, but if you see a post go viral within your niche and it's a carousel, let's say, and you just recreate it yourself, you're always going to be fighting an uphill battle, right? You're always going to be limiting yourself on views because you're just hurting yourself, right? People will see that post that already saw the original and they aren't going to interact with yours, even if you're pulling from Twitter, even if you're pulling from Reddit. Find out what's working, find out what's working in adjacent niches, right? And then you're able to pull those same exact formats into your niche. And I promise you it will work. And now you're creating original content. And now you become the page that everyone else is copying off of. That's the secret. That's how you create content. And that's how you always are raising your content floor. So keep that in mind. It takes more effort. It's very hard to, you have to have a process in mind. You have to have a way of doing things so that you can easily hand it off to someone else. But if you can master that and you can get that down with AI today, it's easier than it's ever been. It's really not that challenging. Then you will always be in a very good position. Knowing that something works, right? So this is why I always say pull from proof of concept, right? So even if you're just pulling a format, if it's gotten 10 million likes, a million likes, 500,000 likes, whatever, it's gone viral, understand that this is the ultimate confidence, right? You already know that it works. You've already seen it happen. You've already seen that it performs well. Now it's just execution. And so many people come to me with very little followers and they show me their page and they're doing things like I've never seen it done before, right? Which is why they're a small page and which is why they are looking for help because they're doing things that I've never seen done on social media before. They're posting, with like 30 hashtags and it's like, where did you see someone post with 30 hashtags? No one's done that in a very long time. They're doing things that are just like either really old advice or that have just never been done before, or they're using fonts, they're using colors that I've never seen go viral before. That's the number one piece of advice I can give someone that's just starting is pull from proof of concept. Find formats, find fonts, find, you know, templates, types of posts, the whole 9 yards based off of what's working. And then do that on your own page and you will start to build confidence in that way. And understand that if you are pulling from a page that's working, that's getting, a million likes a post, whatever, and you have, let's say 100, 200, 1,000 followers, and you're pulling from them and you're creating content like them, I promise you, you'll start to see success. Um, yeah, I mean that's how I would always do it, and this also saves you so much time because you stop spending hours on posts that don't perform, right? And that's honestly when I talk to people that stopped posting or that quit their page or whatever, it was because they were spending so much time on content and they were getting no results, right? So this is something that, this is why I really honed in on creating good content, was because I got tired of spending an hour or 2 hours on a post, creating a post, and then it was my worst performer. And it's like, why is this happening? Well, I started to break down the data, actually analyze things, and figure out why this was happening. And now I don't create my own content anymore. But if I did, I'm making sure that it's always performing well. And, we still go through the same process with the people that work for me. So the next step is, avoid takedowns. So you're at a higher risk of deletion if you're just posting other people's content without changing it. And, this goes as far as deletion, suppression of your page, shadow ban, quote unquote, whatever. You don't want to get flagged. So your best bet is to start to, try to put out some original content, even if it's just a tweet post, right? That still counts in a way of original content when it's coming from yourself. You know, use AI, use your brain, and start to change, some of the words, start to see, why this post went viral and recreate it, things like that. So that's the best way to research content. If you research content in this way, I promise you will see success. And if you're someone that's looking to take your theme page to the next level, I take a couple clients a month and work with them one-on-one. You can click the first link down below, and apply for a free consultation, free call with me. I'll go through your page, take a look at things, and see if you are a good fit to work with me. Like I said, I only take 3 to 5 clients a month, depending on the workload. And that's because I'm meeting one-on-one with every single one of my clients. And I don't take every single client. If you apply and I don't think your theme page fits, then I'm not going to work one-on-one with you. And with that being said, guys, we set 3 goals. We make sure that that we're achieving those 3 goals with the client, and we take their page to the next level. So if you're interested in that, first link down below. And if you maybe don't want to do that but want to check out my Instagram, ask me questions, whatever, go click the second link down below in the bio, or in the description, excuse me. And I post stories every single day. I post videos, I respond to DMs, everything, as often as I can. So if you're interested in that, go follow us on Instagram at Winning Corner. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.